Okay, Bob. So we've talked about increasing the EBITDA. Now we're going to slide on over. We've got that same goal. We've got a $5 million valuation. We want to take it to a $10 million valuation. So how can we do that by increasing the multiple? So in this case, we've got a $1 million EBITDA. So in order to get it to a $10 million valuation, if the EBITDA does not change, we need to get that multiple up to a 10, where it's currently sitting at a 5.
Yes, and we're going to do this with holding the profit constant and not make another dollar of profit and do it all through the multiple.
Absolutely. So, I think when you talk about increasing the multiple, Bob, we're really talking about increasing the attractiveness of your business to an outside firm or to an investor.
That's exactly right. I sort of liken it to you always want to be a playoff contender. You may not be going to the Super Bowl every year, but you want to be in that mix that's eligible to compete at that level. So what we tell companies is try to become the number one or number two provider in your geography. For instance, if you're an IT provider in North Carolina, you're not necessarily competing against IT companies in the state of Washington or California or Texas, but try to become the number one or number two in your niche in your part of North Carolina. Maybe it's Western North Carolina, but try to be that. So what does it take to be there? What does it take to get that? It takes differentiation and innovation in the market. What types of services are you delivering better than what your customers or what your competitors are delivering? What's going to make the customer want to be attracted to you? Is it that you have a 24-hour response time, or that your reputation is that you always solve their problem the first time, or that your staff is the most knowledgeable and courteous when people call in or when you meet in person, that they can always count on your company being the one that solves their problem or their issue? That's how you become number one or number two in your geography. And that's where investors, new owners, private equity firms, even lenders, that's who they want to be associated with. That's who they want to look at. They don't want to look at the number 10 company in the market. They want to look at the number one or number two. So what do you do different and better than your competition? Or what do you need to strive to do different or better than your competition?
I always explain this to people as liking it to a retail business. So, we've all got what I kind of think of as our favorite stores. So, not all Subway restaurants are created equal, Bob.
Right.
They all sell the same sandwiches, but in my particular case, I'll drive that 3 miles the other direction to go to the one where I consistently have a better experience, and that would be an example of a way that company, that franchisee, is increasing their multiple.
Absolutely. And not to pick on Subway, you can look at others, but because I travel as you do, a great part of the time, tend to get in habits, tend to go the same kinds of places to eat, and there's a great variance in how many of these stores, whether it's Subway or Chick-fil-A is a great example, and others are run. How clean are they? How efficient are they? How friendly is the staff? If there is a problem, how quickly do they solve it? Um, how do they treat everybody? It really makes a difference, and that's why you say I'm willing to drive 3 miles further for that experience. And what that does is that helps you in the marketplace when you're recognized that way. People are willing to pay more, which means more profit, because you have invested in those skill sets and that customer attitude. And liken it to a retail is very effective because even if you're not in the retail business, the people you're selling to, they are consumers of retail businesses, and that sort of becomes the standard now. If I get treated this way at a retailer, I expect my wholesaler or my supply chain or my customer, we want to have that same kind of relationship. So A customers are the ones who are willing to pay for that kind of better service, better experience, better differentiation, better innovation in the marketplace, value and service they're willing to pay extra for. Makes your company more valuable. You have better customers. They pay more. They pay sooner. You have less problems. All those things help make your company more valuable.
Well, we've talked about A customers. Let's talk about A vendors. This is something that I think is often overlooked. So often we see clients that are simply shopping their vendors on price, especially if it's a commodity vendor. I was in the wireless business for several years, and there are hundreds and thousands of wholesale wireless dealers, and they're all selling car chargers and they're all selling cases, and often they're the same thing. But even when I'm getting the same quality, right? If I'm not going to try to save a nickel if I can't count on the product being delivered correctly, the order coming in as I ordered it. All those little intangible things outside of price that have a direct effect on the day-to-day operation of my business.
Yes, that's correct. For most businesses that we're dealing with, the quality of the product, is it engineered and meets all the customer's requirements or exceeds all of the customer's requirements? What kind of warranty? What kind of service comes with that product or service? What kind of support is there? People are willing to pay for that because when they have a problem, they want it solved quickly. And if they can depend upon you to solve that problem, that's the kind of vendors they want to deal with, and that's the kind of supply chain that we need when we're the company and we're lining up our vendors. We should be willing to pay more for vendors that want to partner with us to help us solve our customer issues. So having the right supply chain and having A vendors, just like you have A customers, very critical to long-term business success and increasing the multiple. When an investor looks at your business, if you have A customers and A vendors, that multiple starts to rise. And that's what we want. The value of that business is higher.